everybody, Geraldine Rose here with a video I promised to a card group friend, and it's good to stand by your word, right? This was for one of the color throwdown challenges in aqua, olive green, and teal, none of which are my favorite colors. But hey, that's what challenges are for, right? So it's to get you to think about doing things differently, get you out of the box that we are contained in. I let my old masking tape decide how much of the back panel was going to be masked off, and masking tape does work pretty much as well as satin tape, actually, or painter's tape. I picked 2 oxide colors for each of the colors in the challenge. I'm ink blending them on the portion that is exposed. The ink's going down in a really random pattern, the same way that you would get when you were looking out through the garden in the bushes with the shadows behind, the leaves portion, the flowers portion. With that done, I'm pulling the masking tape off at an angle that'll help not tear your paper. Percolating the back of my head, I was thinking, hydrangeas are pretty close to the colors of this challenge. It's one of the flowers that is typically blue, at least up here it is. I rubbed it with my hand to get all the manufacturing gunk off the stamp because this was the first time I was using it. I'm going to spray it with my mister and I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to water stamp that back. And because oxides react with water, you can see I'm just holding it there, letting the water soak in. When you bring it up, you've got a very faint shadow watercolored type of image from the stamp down. So I'm going to die cut it out to clean up the outside edges on it. It did actually have some of the oxides spread outside where we had masked off, but I just let it go because it's part of the look, right? You know that you've got water splotching going on in the background. While that's drying, we're going to grab out the Honeybee Lovely Layers Hydrangeas and die cut those out, as well as dust off the Ranger Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. We're putting green on the inside of the flowers, the ones that show, just the way that they do in nature, and then blue around the outside edge. I'm going to mist them. That's going to activate the watercolor, and it's going to spread in and out on each of those flowers. Next, I am going to accentuate that by bringing out Lindy's Magicals in the colors that were for the color challenge, and I am tapping it very carefully just around the outside edge of each of those flowers, because when you look at hydrangeas in real life, they got little splotches all over them. We'll do the same for the leaf. Didn't have too many leaves on this. I wanted the focus to be more the flowers. The Lindy's Magicals, those you have to set them and activate them by spraying them as well. Now, they had already gone down on somewhat damp Diecuts because of the misting that we had done for the watercolor pencils, but the sprayer will help to finish that off. I thought it'd be a good idea to define the edges of the flowers even more by using an alcohol marker on them. So I'm just putting that on the outside edge, and the alcohol marker as well will feather into it to cause a veining type effect. On the inside, I want to repeat the My Favorite Things Hydrangeas in Bloom stamp. I folded my card base over and taped it so that I didn't mask off the other side, and I have tapped on color onto that stamp. The inside sentiment is from the Honeybee You're a Keeper stamp set. The saying I picked out is absolutely 100% true of the lady that this card went to. She is amazing. Everything that she does through her community and at home, it never ceases to just astound me at how much she gets done in a day, in a week. And she is one of those people that is being the change that we want to see in our world. So we need more people like this lady. I let the turquoise and the green inks mingle and merge there to match what was going on with the flowers on the front and on the inside, the colors from the Throwdown challenge. I angled the last turquoise ink layer so that it would create an edge the way that we had around the outside of the flowers on the front too. Time for the glimmer machine and a little bit of foil. I got it out, heated it up, got out the My Favorite Things You Impress Me plate. This, by the way, once you foil, this is how slowly you want to run it through your die cutting machine, because it's the pressure and the heat that causes the foil to adhere to your paper. I put the foil in strips of turquoise with green banding in it. You can see I've got them all kind of taped together. Now that it's cooled down a little bit, I'm going to strip it off and see how we did on this. and it was pretty good, actually. I'm good with that. I ended up die cutting that out. I'm going to jump back to the sub-sentiment for the front. This was from the Stampendous Big Words Thanks stamp set. I matched up some olive green cardstock. I brushed it with my powder tool. Then I'm using a white pigment ink because I'm going to be using white embossing powder too. It works just as good as Versamark. It seems to also give you a brighter white when you bring your heat embossing tool to it. I think I got lucky on this one too, that I didn't even have to use a brush to take off any of the little white fuzzies that would have been stuck in the spots we didn't want them. Because I was going to tuck the sub-sentiment banner underneath one of the flowers on the front, I only dovetailed it with a die cut on the one side. Sorry, farther back I forgot to mention that I also ran it through a leaf embossing folder, and I sanded the raised edges so that it would stand out. This is the part where I'm starting to assemble. I've glued the background panel down. I split the hydrangea flower in half so that I can put them on either sides of the card, and there I'm squashing it down, putting a block on to keep everything flat. Not certain at this stage in the game why I'm gluing that sentiment down in that manner. I must have had some reason. I must have had it in place first and didn't want to disturb it. The mini banner, because it was so narrow, instead of using foam for it, I cut out a couple of strips of cardstock to put behind it, glued them on the back there. Now we're going to put the banner down. We're going to hover it in a spot until we decide where we want to put it so that it balances everything out. Remember that we still had a leaf and a flower left over from when we were die cutting and doing all the painting. I'm going to use them on the inside. And there we are. Decisions, right? It's just letting your intuition speak to you on where you want to put them. That's how I operate anyways. Does it feel good? Yeah, that's the spot. Let's put it down. We're coming into the finishing touches. We'll grab a custom stamp for the back of the card. Put it down in blue tones to match along with the color challenge and the card. I'm going to jump back to the front. I'm going to put some Ranger Crackle accents just in the centers of the flowers. Then we'll decide for the front on what type of embellishments we want. Sequins, discs, the enamel dots, half pearl drops. We went with the Pink Fresh ombre drops on this one because they got just a little bit of sparkle, and we're highlighting them around the U and the sub-sentiment there. All right, everybody, that's the finished card. So get out there or get in there, get to your craft room, make a mess, have some fun experimenting, be kind to someone else, share a little kindness out into our world. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.